Welcome back, guys, to day number 4. On the first day, we had a look at how to draw an arrow and pointing into the background. On the second day, we had a look at neat and readable handwriting, you might remember. And on day 3, we had a look at how to draw Unito. On today's video, we put everything you learned so far together to our first flip chart. We use a layout for that I show you in a second, but this is only one layout of many. In the training, we have a link below this email or this video for you, is a booking page. And if you like and say, hey, this is cool, but how do I draw something else? Let's say a tree or like a different canvas for different purposes, then please join in our training program. We run monthly trainings around the globe in several languages and we look forward to have you there. If you can't see a booking for in your country, then please write me an email and we talk about it, how we can do this via the right time zones. We also deliver face-to-face classes in Brisbane, in Melbourne, in everywhere Australia, in New Zealand, but also in our headquarters in Germany as well in Europe, everywhere. So if you like what you see today and would like to learn more, then please sign up for our training program. We deliver 2 days, a full-on class with you. We ship you everything you need home to your house and then practice together live online with a teacher, not a recorded video. Let's dive right in. And I'm back here with my pencil and my outliner. The outliner is a 4mm wide chisel tip. If you have one, go for it, and otherwise use any bold pen in black would be a good idea. And the pencil, just a pencil. Okay, so let's get started. What we visualize today is a daily agenda in 3 steps. It could be 4, could be more, but we do 3 steps here and I show you how to do this. The first thing is that we need to create space for our headliner. We do this with a very robust measuring tape, our hand. So if we place the hand here roughly, and any hand will do. If your hand is smaller or bigger, it's fine. It is more like a space that you have here roughly for your headline. And I'm putting a line here and say, well, this is the height. And what I do now is I pull a line across with my pencil. And you might measure on the same side here, then you have something to target here on the other side, to aim at, and you get a very even horizontal line. When you have that, you can actually already lock that one in, because that's our horizon and it should be solid. If it's not completely straight, it's actually not a problem, because the earth is also not straight, so no problem there. Right, and then I would like to start with you and putting the headline in. I always start with the headline prepared before a workshop. If the workshop starts early or anything, you have at least the headline on the flip charts. That's very good, and you can change and add the details later. So my goal here is to have a headline here that's called agenda, and for that, you remember, we put a guideline first in. So put the guideline in here, and then I write the word agenda. As you remember, press hard, you get a bold line and have more control. Agenda. Well, and then you remember from day 2, we put dots around to get the white space right. Here, then vertical in balance to the surface, here again, and maybe here again. And then pull the line through, and whenever you come to a spot like this, leave a big gap and come out of the other side. Our eyes can close those gaps and it looks very neat. Straight here and combine it. And I thought we'd do another banner today. You will not be like saying, hello, oh my God, I can't do it. I show you what I mean. Because this is our goal where we aim to, and we just pull a line down here and pull a line down here. Et voila, you have a goal post. Right, this is it. Our first headline is done, and now we need to split up the page here to have enough space for every content we would like to put in there. And for that I have another great measuring tape for you, and that is an A4 sheet of paper. Well, and this A4 sheet of paper, if you don't have one, get one in the printer and come back in a second. I wait for you and freeze. Cool that you're back. Well, the point is I would like to create with you a road on this page. And this road has corners where we cut hard and drive around the corner. And we do this actually driving into the background, right? So my idea is that you actually place here on top the A4 sheet of paper and get a first reference point here. This is actually the second reference point because the street should end here in the middle of this page, and I put another spot here. Maybe I use a different color that you can see this in the video better. So this is our first reference point, and this, by the measuring of the A4 page, is our second reference point. As you have the first one and the second reference point, well, you already know it. It is like a stepladder. It goes here, roughly. But where do you put and place the point? Well, you can either use now an A3 page and mark the same dot here as it is, or as an A3 page is 2 times A4, we just use an A4 sheet of paper, but twice. Let's have a look. This is 1, this is roughly 2. So I put our reference point at 2 times the horizontal size height of an A4. 1 A4 horizontal, second, here we are. Right, so we have now 2 parts of the street. But the point is, we need actually the last one here where we start as well. And this is 3 times A4. 1, 2, maybe I put a helper line here for 2. And then this is the 3 times height. You see here my little reference point. And now we can actually draw in the whole layout. We come from 1 to point 2 and pull a line across. Now we come from 2 to 3 and pull a line across. We actually practice in the training how to draw lines. So if you don't get that right now, you have time with us and we help you and what you could do different. Well, and the last one is from here down, and I might pull the camera a bit down to show you what I mean here. And you get from here and you get from here to there down. And it helps us to have enough space for everything. And after that now, we start with drawing our first arrow. And the different to before, we now start at the bottom because the bottom here is in the foreground. It's in the front, and if something goes in between, we have to do the foreground first. So let's dive right in and write the first step. So this is step number 1. And I do this again with, as you learned on the first day, with a reference line. And I put this line a bit underneath our guideline. So the guideline is it's parallel to the guideline we drew for the layout, but the arrow here is roughly the height of the arrow of your font, a half of it underneath. Let me show you what I mean. So you see here step 1, and it's quite a big arrow, and we put white space dots around again as we need them here as well, roughly over the R1 again, and pull the line down. It has to be balanced down to the surface, so get this right. And then we pull this line across here, leave space where the P is, and you pull the line across. The same here on the top. We just pull the line across. As you remember, we put the wings out also vertical to the surface. And then we have to find the middle of the arrow for the tip. You divide the height here again by 2, the same here, and create a guideline across. So this guideline helps us to find the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the arrow, and we pull the tip across. So this is step number 1. But let me point in here will be a pole and maybe a basement for the pole. The pole comes out at the top here and finishes up with a little circle. This is our step number 1. And this is, okay, step number 1, what is the content of step number 1? Well, I suggest you create a couple of detail points here where you add a bit of text. I just write detail, like maybe to-dos. So this is step number 1. You have the main point with some details here that you need to tick off during the workshop or meeting. Well, let's go over to step number 2. And step number 2 here, the arrow actually is parallel again to the guideline. But this time we have this here of the guideline is the top. So I'm writing underneath of this part. And step number 2 comes here. If you need another guideline here underneath, you can create a parallel line, of course, underneath as well. And then we do step 2. With the line, of course, I have already started finding the white space. I put the line down here where I want to put the white space here and maybe give a bit more white space here. Find the dot here. Right, and after you have put the dots around and finished those lines here, you pull out the wings again, as you remember. One here, one down. It has to be in balance to the surface, very important. This head could be more in balance, but it's not the end. It's handmade and it should look like handmade. So then you pull the poles down again and put a little basement around, and then they come out of the top here and a little ellipse circle on top. So then the question is again, where the hell is the tip? Well, that is roughly in parallel to it, half height of the arrow here, half height in between the dots here, creating a guideline through finding the point where you would like to point to, let's say here, and then pull from the outside of those wings in. All right, this is step number 2, and I think you already guessed it. The additional points that we have, we can write here very neatly and say to do, yeah, or an exercise, or anything else you would like to add here. Some checkboxes, might be a task you need to fulfill, a discussion to have, and so on. And then during the progress of the agenda, you can tick those boxes as done. Well, this was step number 2. And now we draw the last arrow, step number 3. Maybe it's the closing or the follow-up, and we write again the word step 3. The thing is here we have the guideline, our first guideline we drew here, going across here. And this guideline again is the top of the arrow, similar to here. We can draw the line here to help us. This is the size roughly we would like to have for the arrow, and we write underneath. We can make this longer in a second, or we start with that. And now we write step 3. It is slightly smaller as it goes into the background, right? And don't worry, we practice this together in the training. Step 3. And then find the white spots. Again, 1, 2, and pulling the line across. Leaving a good gap here where the letters need space. Et voila. One wing already done, and second wing done now. Now we need to find the guideline for the wing, half height, pulling a line across, and on that line here deciding how pointy it is. It can be very pointy, but it can also be very short, right? As long as it's on the guideline, everything's fine. I want to have them in the same size as this, or same symmetry, so I just do this. And you already guessed it, the pole for the ground and putting a podest around. It's a system. You practice over and over again the same shapes, so they will be much faster than when I do them. So that when I draw, it's not that neat all the time, but I'm fast. And over time you get fast. Okay, so this is step 3, and again we do some check boxes. Maybe we have a discussion. And a follow-up, maybe a closing, whatever. Closing, anything that fits on an agenda. Then here would be probably an opening, right, in the beginning. So the discussion is over. We have everything we need on the agenda: to-dos, details, exercise, to-dos, discussion, following, whatever is the right agenda for you. And with that, you have 3 steps, but you can actually more steps if you add more checkboxes here. Well, as you can see, we are a bit busy here, but have space here left. And here's where I would like to draw a Unito with you that helps us guiding the people into the right direction. And we do this guidance piece now. Here I draw a Unito, but I draw only half the head on it. Give him a nice smile as he looks around the corner. Big eyes. And now he's pointing towards the direction where we want to go. And put a U underneath here for the fist that points in the direction. Right, then the legs, as you know, just line across. The length is your decision, and done. Same here again, and done. Well, he has some feet. Maybe we give additional guidance with Unito now pointing this direction, but maybe he can walk the way. I have an idea how to draw little footprints on the surface that it actually walks across. That's easier than to draw a street in the background. You're more flexible and it's faster to do as well. So I draw, and maybe I go down here again with the camera. So I draw now little footprints, and I do this by pulling a line across and creating a triangle. And this triangle I fill in and put 3 lines around. Unito has only 3 toes. Well, you can give him 4 or 5, I don't mind. But it's when I draw this size of a triangle, I have space for 3. So I just go with 3. And then the next one is maybe here, a line, finishing the line, filling it in. And now 1, 2, 3. Next one. Walking up the street here. 1, 2, 3. So he's walking barefoot across here, filling it in. 1, 2, 3. And you can already see how he's walking up here. Let me turn the camera back up, that you can see it in detail when I draw. So he's walking up the street here, and now he's coming out here, a little triangle. If you have difficulties drawing the size of triangle, you can actually do this with a line here. Can you see that? Yes. Then putting a dot here, and you finish it similar to our borders around the words, and then putting 3 lines in front. Again here. Maybe he's walking around here, do it a bit bended. 1, 2, 3, and then he's coming out here. 1, 2, 3. Et voila. So that's our flip chart page. And I personally really like to hold it all together at the end when it's finished with a nice frame. Let me do that very simple. Draw a line, leave gaps wherever you have already content, like you need to here, and then come down here on the top here as well. Go across here, come across here. I do a little 90-degree page view here, and then come down here, and et voila, we have finished the drawing. Well, this is it. We have our black outline and the words on the page. This is 90% done. We can polish it now, and that's what I do in a second for you. But let me say, if you like that, this is one layout of many layouts. We have more layouts in the training room. When we practice together, you actually have access to all our Unito templates, and we look forward to teach it to you and talk about different purposes and different layouts what we use. We practice step by step, so you don't need to be afraid. If you had a steep learning curve here and maybe fall out of the curve sometimes, don't worry, we teach it to everyone. Our slogan is everyone can draw, and we give you money back if we are not delivering on that. That's a promise. And with that, I would like to thank you for watching this short series. I hope you enjoyed this. I finished this up with a bit of color that you also learn in the class, and I would like to thank you for watching, and please refer us. We have also a referral program, and as I said, we have monthly trainings around the globe, live online as well as in the training room. Thank you very much. You, Marcel, from the Visual Friends.